Today marks exactly 10 months since I got my hair transplant. And in honor of it being 10 months, I'm gonna share with you guys 10 things that I wish I knew before getting a hair transplant. But before that, I know you guys wanna see an update, so I'm gonna come up close to you and see how it's looking. Hopefully this is in focus. I think it's looking pretty dang good, if I say so myself. Wish I could see what you guys are seeing, but oh well. Okay. Probably really f***ed up my hair, but that's okay. So 10 months ago, I got 2,400 FUE grafts implanted in my hairline by the Dr. Serkan Aygin clinic in Istanbul, Turkey. Everything went super smooth. The process was seamless. I really enjoyed everything. It was super easy, way easier than I could have ever expected. And Istanbul was absolutely beautiful, by the way. So I recommend going and getting your procedure done there to everybody that's interested. And if you want to look into the clinic that I use, then I'll leave their website, their contact information, and even their Facebook page down below in the description if you want to go check that out, and you can see people's before and after and their hair loss journeys and updates and whatnot. But without further ado, let's get right into number 1. First thing I wish I knew was that I didn't know that you actually don't go to sleep during the procedure. They actually just give you this anesthesia, and I remember reading the card that tells you what they're going to be using to kind of make you drowsy. I guess it's called twilight sleep because you're just like kind of in this dazed kind of state. Although when I was under this state, I actually felt totally like coherent and present, but it just kind of like dulled the pain, right? So you're still in there, totally aware of what's going on, but you're in there, just sticking through it for 6 hours or so, depending on the size of your procedure. So I wish I knew that it was just kind of this like twilight sleep that you're going into, not fully unconscious, because I was really nervous about that. I'm kind of scared of that type of stuff, and playing with my consciousness is just, it's not natural. It doesn't seem right, you know what I mean? It's not so bad, nothing to worry about. Number 2, after the procedure, when you get home, you want to put down like a big towel under your pillow for when you go to sleep, because your head will leak. It'll leak, oil, pus, blood, whatever, excrement from the procedure, and if you don't put something down, it's gonna get all over your bed and your sheets and probably go into your mattress, and you definitely don't want that. So definitely put down like a big thick towel underneath your pillow. I've even heard of people putting down puppy pads. I guess that absorbs it pretty well. So yeah, that's an option too, but put something down by any means. Number 3, get a memory foam neck pillow. So you're gonna be sleeping on your back for the first 7-8 days after the procedure. So you need to be comfortable as possible, right? They give you this little crappy inflatable neck pillow. No offense to them, but it is crappy. It's like just a blow up inflatable pillow, and the lining, the seam has like kind of jagged plastic felt edges that kind of like cut into your skin. So I really wish I would have invested in like a nice comfy neck pillow. I mean, the pillows that you can get these days are like crazy, so I'm sure there's like unlimited options out there. You could probably get like a full body neck pillow thing if you really wanted to. I don't know. So I really wish I would have done that to help me kind of adapt to sleeping on my back, because I'm not used to that. I'm usually a side or belly sleeper. So it's enough of an adjustment trying to sleep on your back, and then without a comfortable pillow makes it even harder. So yeah, get a nice pillow. Number 4 also pertains to sleeping. It's very difficult to sleep, at least for me it was, the first few days after the procedure. And I didn't know that you can actually take melatonin. Melatonin is this over-the-counter kind of sleep aid, and a lot of people, it's super common, especially in the United States, for people that, have trouble sleeping, because your body does produce melatonin naturally. I didn't know if I was able to use it, so I contacted the clinic. I didn't know if it was gonna like interfere with the antibiotics I was on, or who knows what's gonna happen, but they said yeah, go for it. And so on like day 4 or 5, I started using the melatonin, which helped me sleep quite a bit. I wish I would have known that from the very beginning, because that would have helped me sleep the first 3 days. So you can use melatonin. You have my what's the word, you have my this, carry on. Yes. Number 5, read the aftercare directions very, very carefully. So I made the mistake of, I don't know if I didn't read it carefully or if I just kind of mixed up my times, but in the directions it said don't wash your scalp until 48 hours have passed so that the follicles can actually bond into your skin on your scalp, right? I got my days mixed up because I was thinking about my flights and the time zone difference and all this, and I actually washed my scalp after just 24 hours. And I realized this right after I washed it, and my heart sank into my nuts. I was like, oh no, I probably dislodged like half of the hair follicles. I screwed it all up. I ruined the procedure. And so I was actually like tripping for like a couple weeks, like wondering that I ruined this. But honestly, I don't think, maybe I lost a couple follicles, if even. I think they were pretty secure at this point because after like 12 hours, there was just like a whole freaking scab over my hairline. So, but yeah, I definitely learned my lesson to read carefully and make sure you abide by the directions as close as possible. I think in the whole journey, you're bound to make at least one or two little mistakes or mess something up, but try your very best to abide by their directions so that you get the optimum results possible. Number 6 is something that I had to figure out on my own, and it would have been easier if somebody just told me it beforehand. The scabs that, conjure where the transplant takes place are supposed to be gone by 2 weeks, right? 14 days. Mine were so tightly packed and so dense that it just kind of created one big scab where my hairline was, and none of them had even started falling off by the 2-week mark. So I had no choice but to get rid of them by any means possible. So I used a toothbrush to kind of get in there and break them apart with the little fine bristles of the toothbrush. Of course, I had the soap on there and some warm water to kind of help break it up, but it was not going to break up if I just used my fingers, because the clinic recommends just use your fingers to gently massage it off. No, that was not going to happen with me. I know it works for a lot of other people who didn't have as dense of a transplant, but for me, it was so dense that I had to get in there with something very, very fine. And a toothbrush was the best thing for that job. And it worked magically. I broke it apart with the toothbrush, went back in with my fingers, massaged them off, and they came off like a charm. It was beautiful. But I do know a lot of people have no problem. Like, I guess the denseness of their transplant isn't enough. They're not close enough together. They actually form their own individual scabs and they fall off on their own, and it's no big deal. But for me, that wasn't the case. Number 7 is one of the biggest ones on this list, and I know you've probably heard it before, but it holds true. The shed hair will return. No! Everybody around the 1.5 to 2 month mark starts the shedding phase, and it's really scary because you've seen the little hairs start to kind of sprout, and then as soon as they come, they fall out, and you're like, oh no, is the procedure a failure? Did I screw it up somehow? And you're sitting there with these patches on your newly transplanted hair like, are these ever gonna come back? And they will. You just have to trust it. Now, something that I was worried about is, since I had a very tightly packed transplant, I was worried that maybe they were packed so tight that they scabbed over on the scalp and the hairs would be stuck under the thick skin of the scab. I thought maybe I was like a, one-off case where it was just too closely packed together that maybe they were trapped, and it even looked like that. It was like kind of like red and lumpy, so I was really nervous because I felt like it didn't look like a lot of other people's transplant. But sure enough, they did start poking through at about the 3.5. I'll have to look back at my pictures, but it was like 3.5 months or so. It did start poking through, and it worked out for the best. It was fine. So chill out. I know you're gonna want to freak out, but it'll be fine. They will come back unless you didn't just it up royally. Number 8, don't even try styling your hair for 5 months. Okay, so you're gonna start getting your hairs back, the ones that fell out during the ugly duckling phase, and it's great, you're excited, but they're gonna be all wiry and wonky and funny looking, and you're gonna wanna try to style it because it looks like shit, frankly. Don't even try. Don't try to do any cool crew cuts or side parts or anything like that. It won't work. The best thing in the first few months of your hair actually kind of like coming to form is just to kind of like mess it up. Go for that like messy look and let it kind of like fall over your forehead a little bit, and go for that like fresh out of bed head look. That, in my opinion, is the best hairstyle to go with in the first like 4 or 5 months of your hair transplant, because anything other than that is just gonna look weird. You're gonna have little tiny things poking out, wiry hairs flying all over, and it won't be good. Number 9 is to invest in a wet brush for when your hair is actually long enough to kind of style. Over time, the hair will kind of like work out its kinks a little bit. It will still be kinky for quite some time. My hair is still kind of wiring in kinky at this point, 10 months in, but a wet brush has worked wonders to kind of help straighten it out. So right after the shower, I just take this pink wet brush that I got at Target, brush it. I do this like third of the hair this way, and then this 2/3 back and kind of swooping to the side to get this side part look. And I think it helps so much in straightening out the hair. It feels nice and smooth, smoother than other brushes, and it just works well. So let me know what you think though. Does it look okay? I think it looks okay. Maybe I have like distance bias because I see myself all the time. I don't know. All right, so that's number 9. And the very last tip to round off the 10 things I wish I knew is time really does fly after your transplant. You're gonna spend so much time thinking about it leading up to the transplant. It's gonna seem like forever the few weeks afterwards. In the moment, you're gonna think, this sucks so bad. It's painful, it looks stupid, my head and face is all swollen up. And it almost feels like it's never gonna heal, like you're gonna be stuck like that, or that the hair is never gonna come back. You're gonna be stuck with this ugly, patchy, receding hairline thing going on. But 10 months later, it feels like it was just yesterday that I got it done. Honestly, it's crazy how fast time flies. Even the times where you can't work out, you can't go outside, do the things you want to do. It sucks, yes, but it's a small price to pay and it'll go by quick, I promise you. So that's the top 10 things I wish I knew. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out Dr. Serkan Aygin Clinic. I can't recommend them enough. I'll put all their info in the description down below. And until next time, peace.